I have a wonderful, wonderful show for you today. And my second guest is with the March of Dimes. And you really want to hear about this because a lot of us get help from the March of Dimes. But my first guest, we have a couple. One's in the music business. And when I say in the music business, he is in the music business. Or the music business is him. And his wife, who is sitting up here too, is an author. So I have Mr. Wayne Lindsey.
Hello.
Good morning. Hold
Good
the
morning.
mic up.
Good morning. Good morning.
And I have China Robinson. I got it. You know.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hi, thank you.
Where do you all live?
We live in Los Angeles.
I thought so.
Yeah, Burbank actually, but Los Angeles.
Burbank, home of NBC
Yes,
Studios.
correct. Yes.
Now, Wayne, where are you originally from?
Well, I was born in Knoxville, Tennessee, actually, but I claim Atlanta and D.C. As my homes.
And tell the audience why you're in Detroit.
Well, we're in Detroit doing a taping of American Idol, which I'm the pianist for.
You hear that?
Yeah, so.
We're not joke here. I don't have the second, third show for nothing.
Yeah, so we were here a couple of weeks ago and we did two, and then we came back and we did one Wednesday and then another yesterday. And Aretha Franklin was on
Were
our
they
show
live?
Wednesday. Well, the shows yesterday were Wednesday and Thursday were taped earlier in the day and broadcast that night.
Oh, okay. I thought so. I
Yeah.
thought so because I only watched it for the Detroit
Yeah,
piece. And what I want to know is how do you all do you have to have a repertoire already in your head of the songs that people are going to sing or what?
Well, I mean, we do rehearse with the kids, but we all read music, which is something I stress to the kids who are thinking about being in the music business. I mean, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your ears are, if you are able to learn to read, it gives you just that many more opportunities to be able to work.
Now, China, you're a writer.
Yes. Yes.
Among other things.
Among so many other things we're going to find out, but we're going to let you know about Wayne Lindsey. I'm not going to tell you everything. We're going to play part of a tape that tells you about, not a tape. What do we do tapes
tape
anymore? Lord, I'm going back in the day. Can we have that on? And you're going to find out a lot about it. There you go.
Wayne Lindsey, musician, producer, arranger, songwriter, and TV personality. As a multi-talented instrumentalist, Wayne Lindsey is best known as a gifted keyboardist, but also plays guitar, bass, and drums. Wayne has worked on stage and in the studio with legendary artists such as Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder, Beyonce, Aretha Franklin, Earth, Wind and Fire, Jennifer Hudson, Babyface, Shaka Khan, P. Diddy, Yolanda Adams, Diana Ross, and the Jacksons. Known by many of his fans as Ziggy, Wayne gained popularity in the early years of his career while touring the world as a member of Maze, featuring Frankie Beverly. He has appeared on every Maze recording since Can't Stop the Love, imprinting his unique sound on many of the group's timeless classics, most notably Wayne's signature flute intro and solo on Can't Get Over You. In addition to popular mainstream music, Wayne is no stranger to the jazz genre. He was a pioneer of smooth jazz, having written and produced for saxophonist George Howard in the mid-'80s, including George's biggest hit, No No, and the title cut of the album, A Nice Place to Be. Wayne also wrote for and recorded with the legendary Miles Davis and has written and produced for guitarist Paul Jackson Jr. He has recorded with jazz great Stanley Clarke, Gerald Albright, Nancy Wilson, Norman Brown, Jonathan Butler, and Marcus Miller, and has performed with fellow keyboardists Ray Charles, Herbie Hancock, and Billy Preston. Wayne is also the man who gave his friend Boney James his popular stage name. Wayne's career has involved numerous television appearances. His credits include In Performance at the White House, Saturday Night Live, and musical director for The Oprah Winfrey Show. And he's performed on nearly every music and award show, from BET Gospel to the Grammys. Wayne was also a house band member for comedian Wayne Brady's variety and talk shows, and for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. As a member of the last band for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Wayne's comedic skills were recognized by Jay, which led to the show featuring him in numerous skits for several years. Currently, Wayne is the principal pianist on American Idol and is an original member of the Ricky Minor Band. Wayne is also an artist in his own right, releasing an album on Virgin Records in 1991 entitled Perfect Love as part of the former duo Lindsey. He recently debuted his first project as a solo artist, releasing his contemporary jazz album, A Song Without Words, on his independent label, Head Rock Records. As an entertainer, Wayne is known for captivating audiences at his self-titled shows and his popular A Player's Gotta Play jam sessions. Wayne's vibrant energy, engaging personality, and commanding stage presence has gained him a loyal following. Wayne Lindsey is an amazing musical talent.
I do suppose about how you feel the bass drum in your toe, making you move your body, make you move your butt. Go and tell somebody you were singing a song without words. Come on,
That's one of my favorite moments, actually, being in front of a crowd. I'm one that draws on the energy of my audiences. The more energetic and the more into it they are, then the more it prompts me to give even more. It's interesting because I come from both worlds, meaning that I come from an R&B stage and an R&B background, and then I also have a jazz background. So my shows are kind of a mixture between the two. They're upbeat, you know, a lot of funky music, but yet we're still playing jazz. And so I like to get my audiences engaged, and there's nothing like it. I mean, I can lose 7 pounds in 2 nights of performing easily, you know, from sweating so much and having fun. But it's definitely one of my favorite things to do.
Well, I guess you've seen a lot, but you haven't even seen everything because I've watched the entire video on Vimeo. And in it, Wayne,
Yes.
you are not only a musician, you got some acting ability in there. Because the little black head that you heard, that little doll, that was on the Jay Leno show.
Yes. For some reason, when we started doing the Tonight Show, they just seemed to think I was funny, so they started putting me in all these bits with Jay. And so I guess I must have done about 30 or so, 30 or 40 different skits with him, you know.
Now, Whitney Houston,
Yes.
what did you do with her?
Well, I was her pianist. I was her accompanist. I joined the band in 1989
Wow.
when Ricky took over as her musical director. He hired me. Ricky and I have been together actually 32 years now. So
Ricky Minor.
Ricky Minor, yes. He's the musical director for American Idol, and he was.
He can always keep a job, can't
Oh,
he?
he can, yeah, he can.
Because he was on Tonight Show,
Yes,
too.
yes, yes. So I'm with Ricky, so I go where he goes, and we work together, you know.
So were you always musically inclined, or?
All my life, yes. I actually, my father was a minister. Eventually, he was a bishop in the CME church. But when he was pastoring, there was a woman, Susie Garner, who kept me in Birmingham, Alabama, when we lived there. Actually, there's a picture on my album cover of me playing the piano even younger, right there with my
Oh,
baby
my
shoes.
goodness.
You
Oh,
know.
by the way, this is the album that he has, and it's called A Song Without Words. And the drawing on the front of the album was drawn by
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis.
Yeah, he drew that picture in the studio, and he says, if you notice, my hands are crossed.
Yes.
And so he says, you play so much shit, your hands look like this. So he drew
I mean, you are. I had Ralph Armstrong on the show. Do you know Ralph?
I do not.
Oh, he travels the country and the world and everything. He's a bassist. And he met Miles Davis when he was about 17, and Miles used him for some other things. And when he imitated, every time people talk like Miles, they, hey,
Yes, it's like that.
Yeah,
He's really funny with that.
and he'd say, Ralph, fat boy. You know, he was very bass and a genius, of course. But he drew this.
Yeah, actually, I have Miles is on the album too, imitating me. There's a National Public Radio documentary where Miles was rehearsing my music, some things that I'd written for him, and he starts telling the band to listen to my friend. He plays like this. You know,
Everybody got to talk like
yeah,
Miles.
you have to. Yeah,
You have to talk
He
like
says
Miles.
church is sanctified. He's always doing like this. So I go. He starts imitating my Ziggy. They call me Ziggy too. I used to be in Maze, Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Dang.
And that's when Frank started calling me Ziggy. So if you watch the Live in LA album or DVDs and stuff, Frank says, Brother Zig on keys, you know. So anyway, Ziggy refers to me going
Is
six
that the way Frankie Beverly sounds?
Yes, Brother Zig. Yeah, I can't do Frank.
I know. But I'm sure you do. Everybody's seen Frankie Beverly.
Yeah, we used to
live.
come here. I was telling my driver last night in the cab that when I first started coming with Frank, we'd stay at the Pontchartrain.
Oh,
which
wow.
is no longer here. You know, I heard they'd switched it or something. But
They switched ownership.
You know, we used to spend a lot of time in Detroit with Maze, Budweiser, Superfest, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, when did you start playing professionally?
Well, it all depends
That
on.
means getting paid.
Well, then when I was 12, I got my first church choir. So that was professional. And I used to play once a month down in the country. We'd drive down, and I'd get $25 a Sunday, and $8 of that came out of the pastor's pocket because the church only had services once a month. It was way in the country. We had an outhouse, and
Yeah. My grandmother had an outhouse. I couldn't understand the concept. I said, I got to go where? I said, what?
yeah. So that was the beginning of it. Then I started playing in clubs when I was about 14 or 15. My dad went and looked at the clubs, and he says, okay, if you're going to play in these clubs, you know, let your light shine, you know, in darkness. You know, you don't have to go.
Great.
And so he allowed me to play as opposed to saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. And that, you know, and he gave me that instruction, and I try to
Isn't that great
remember
when
that.
parents know your talent? And we're going to get into you because you're a heck of a parent when we're able to tell you about China, everybody. But I just want to concentrate a little more too, and then we're going to fuse the two together. So playing with Whitney, you played with Stevie Wonder.
Yes,
I
as
mean,
well.
that man loves to stay on stage.
He
doesn't he?
doesn't he?
He loves to. I mean, I never forget one night we were in a club in Southfield, and the hotel had a club. We had gone after a concert. Stevie Wonder comes in. Man, he played all night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already up.
Well, he has no concept of time. I mean, for him, it's 12 noon and 12 midnight. It
They're the
doesn't matter.
same
When he wakes up, it's time to go until he gets tired. Then he goes to sleep. So,
I'm going to ask you a difficult question.
okay.
What can you name your top 2 musical experiences? I said 2, so I could give you.
Okay, top 2 musical experiences. Okay, the first one that comes to mind is touring with Stevie Wonder.
Touring with Stevie Wonder.
Not just touring. While on tour with Stevie Wonder, we played. I think it was Valencia, Spain,
Wow.
and I grew up playing, of course, all of Stevie's music. I have 2 older brothers who turned me on to his records, before we were hip to Stevie, my peers. And we had a group in high school called, basically, we had a Black History program, and we did all of Stevie's stuff. And so we played Love's in Need of Love Today. And
That's such a beautiful song.
It's a gorgeous song. So while we were in Valencia, Spain, we played in a bull ring, and it was around his birthday. And I was on stage, and we were playing that song, and I just had a flashback of me in high school playing it.
It was
And
full circle,
it really
wasn't it?
was, and I just thought about how blessed I was to be able to share in his legacy. And, I was like, wow, I'm out here actually on stage with Stevie Wonder playing this stuff in high school. Who would have thought that I would actually, get a chance to do that? Because at that time, especially being in Atlanta, you're not around all of these people and all of the industry at that time. You're just playing, it's the radio and you're playing music with your peers. So it was, that was quite a treat. And then I would say another one would be the HBO concert with Whitney Houston in 1995 in South Africa.
Oh,
Because
wow.
apartheid had just crumbled, and we were the first to go into South Africa to do a concert. It was broadcast globally.
Well, we have a phone call. Orthea is on the line. Everybody, Orthea Barnes is on the line. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello there.
How you doing, Ray?
I'm good, Othea. How about yourself?
Good. Just wanted to say thank you for yesterday,
You're more than welcome.
and also thank you to Brenda Perryman for having you guys on.
Yes.
And as you was talking, Brenda, about Stevie, it made me think about the time you had Stevie coming into Highland Park High School.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was there. That's how far we go back.
Wow. Yeah, that was a wonderful day because I got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning from one of my know-it-all students. Said, Miss Perryman, Stevie's coming to the Highland Park today. And so apprehensive, so excited the fact that he would come to the high school.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
he's a really good guy.
Orthea?
Yeah, he's a good guy because I always have my best story of him, Wayne, is when I can't even say Ronnie of the Dramatics and I let him drive on the expressway.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah. Well, I gave you a shout out already today for arranging this for me, and I really appreciate this.
All right, baby. I love you both and have a good one.
Thank you.
Well,
You
thank
too. You too. So Stevie Wonder did come to the high school that day, but my first experience, and I'll get to China right now in a minute, was when I was 12, or I was something. Well, they sat Stevie Wonder up on a counter at the Music Box record shop on Dexter. And everybody could come through and shake his hand. He was blind, but he said hi, and we bought the records and stuff. I mean, because this is Detroit,
That's right.
and we could have it like that
That's right.
back in the day. We did. So China,
Yes,
you two are newlyweds.
we are.
When did you meet?
In September 13.
Of 2013. I thought you were going to say September 13th. And
Oh, yeah, no,
And this is,
2013.
I said, golly, a lot's happened in 6 months.
Well, we moved pretty fast, but it wasn't quite that fast.
Where'd you meet him?
A girlfriend. My girlfriend introduced us. She saw him out one night and said, Wayne, I have the most perfect girl for you. Would you like to meet the most perfect woman for you? And he said, well, yeah, no one's ever said that to me. So,
Right.
and she called him. I mean, she called me and asked if it was okay. And I said, yes. And the rest is history. Yeah,
It sure
moved pretty
is.
fast.
Because everybody brought a wealth of experiences to the table. Both of you did. Now, what is your background?
Well, I'm from Los Angeles, raised there, but I was born in Korea. I was actually one of the little malnourished babies you see from, on TV,
On
Feed
the
the
films.
Hungry. Yes. But there was a program that was over in Korea at the time when they were outcasting so many children because of being mixed race. A lot of the soldiers were over there during that time, black soldiers, white soldiers, and being American, the Koreans didn't want these mixed babies to be amongst them, so they were all outcast. And over 30,000 children were rescued, and I was one of them to be rescued by a minister and wife out of Los Angeles.
Wow, we have a local artisan here who is one of those children. Well, he wasn't biracial, but he was a child. They all were adopted. It was another group of kids, and they have this reunion of sorts every year.
Yes, they do. The KB, they're actually on the internet, on the website.
KBC.
The KBC group.
So then they brought you.
It's a Korean and Black Club, is what they call it.
They brought you to America.
They brought me. Well, the organization that was bringing over these children set up with the parents to meet in Seattle to pick up the children. They flew them in from Korea to Seattle, and the parents would drive in or fly in and pick up the children and take them. Yeah, but the children went to America. They went to all parts of the world, actually. But I ended up with a lovely family in Los Angeles, minister and teacher.
God, minister.
Yes, yes. And so, but I was raised in a all-black neighborhood. So I looked a little different. So they teased me. Gave me and this is what my book is about, From Soul to Soul.
Yes.
This one here.
And she spells soul because it's Seoul, Korea.
Seoul, Korea, S-E-O-U-L
And then to
Soul.
soul.
S-O-U-L.
Right. I thought that was just a wonderful title.
Well, because I didn't know I was half Korean until I was 13 years old. They didn't tell me. I looked different, but I didn't. I looked like I belonged to my parents, but in my neighborhood, because everyone was black, I was the only thing that kind of stood out. So they called me Ching Chong China, gave me such a hard time that I really, really did have a very rough beginning in that I wasn't accepted in my neighborhood. And as a result, I made a lot of bad choices, a lot of wrong choices coming up. And that's what this book is about.
Yeah.
And almost 50 years from the day that I was outcast as a orphan in Korea, my daughter takes me back to Korea to be on the cover of Korean Vogue, standing overheading this Black Beauties. So talking about circles, like you were speaking earlier.
Yes, full circle.
Full circle, absolutely.
Golly. My son was on Korean basketball team in South Korea.
okay,
He was in Seoul for a few years.
Yes.
And he liked the people so much. But I kind of glanced through your book, and you really are very candid in this book.
Yes, I am. I'm very candid. Well, because, like I said, I made a lot of choices because, I suffered from an identity crisis that I really had to
self-esteem
deal with,
issues.
and self-esteem issues, absolutely. And so, as a result, you make choices that may not be good for you because you're just kind of making it through life and not knowing exactly what you should be doing to fit in. And I always wanted to fit in.
And this is a beautiful book. She has color pictures at the end of it, and some of them show your.
I'm going to show you a picture here. Talking about wanting to fit in so badly, I wore one of the biggest afros that just to prove that I was a sister, because that's all I knew. And like I said, until I was 13, I did not know that I was half Korean. And people would tease me and and asked me questions all the time. I'm sorry, I'm going to find this picture for you. But because I had African American parents, I grew up thinking that I too was an full African American woman. My father was the first black to graduate from Pepperdine University.
Really?
I can't believe I can't find this picture. And my aunt pioneered the tourism over in Africa. So I grew up with all of this African American pride. There it is.
Oh my goodness. Angela Davis +2. Oh my goodness. That was a big afro.
People ask me, well, how did you get your hair like that? Well, it was natural. It naturally would go that way.
Of course, honey. That's the magic of black hair. The magic of black hair.
Yeah, you can see that afro.
I mean, her face is so small, and the afro is twice as big as her face.
That's right. They called them naturals then.
Yeah, I know. I have one, honey. I got a picture. I have a picture when I first started teaching school. Yeah. I had the big Angela Davis afro. Yeah. What do we call it? The Angela Davis afro. Angela Davis, label for that afro. And then let's talk about your daughter quickly. You wrote another book called Who Said You Look Like a Model?
That's right. Who Said You Look Like a Model? I wrote that because my daughter, being one of the top African American models of her time, people are asking me all the time, how do I get into the industry? Or my daughter says, people say she looks like a model, or people will come up and say, people always say I look like a model. So I thought I'd write that book, like, who
is
said
she
you
tall?
look like? Yes, she is 5'11".
Oh, right.
Yeah, she's a tall girl.
Wow. And the people always tell tall girls, you look like a model. You could have been a model, which she became a model.
Right. She always wanted to be a model from the time that she was a little girl. And about 13 years old, her dream came true, and she started modeling at 13. And I went out on the road with her.
You were her manager.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that was a good move.
No way she was going alone
Right.
to travel the world and, have to make all of those decisions and choices on her own.
Oh, fabulous. Fabulous.
Yes, Chanel Iman.
Chanel Iman. Where can we find her?
Oh, Chanel Iman is on everything. She is in the new Sports Illustrated. This is her second swimsuit.
Oh, you heard that? Mm-hmm. You heard that?
She's a Victoria's Secret model. She has been on every runway since she was 15 years old.
That's fabulous. So how old is she now?
She's 24 now.
Okay, you don't have to travel with her.
No.
You travel with him.
I let go at 18.
You travel with him?
I know. I have someone else to
I
travel
mean, you
with.
just got to travel with somebody, don't you?
Well, my background, I was a flight attendant 26 years.
Stop.
And I retired to go on the road with my daughter. But yes, I've been traveling for a long time. I've been around the world.
You got a lot of miles.
A lot of miles.
Wow. And Miles Davis and everything. Okay. So you two met. What do you find interesting about this guy?
Oh my goodness, everything is interesting. But I think the most important thing about our relationship is that we get each other. We understand each other, and we both have backgrounds of traveling and entertainment.
And you understand.
So we understand that. So it makes it easier for us to build that relationship without having those issues that people who are outside of that industry don't get.
Right.
And we're both secure people.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it wonderful
Yeah.
because when you have somebody who's on the road and they're doing this, that, and the other thing, traveling, taking care of business, it could be some insecurities can come up in your partner. And boy, I know because I used to travel a lot. I was on tour. And this one guy used to drive me to the airport, but he wouldn't speak to me all the way to the airport. Then when he picked me up, he wouldn't speak. I mean, and finally I asked him, I said, what's happening with that? What is that about? I just didn't want you to go. I mean, don't you trust? You know, I mean, and I'm sure both of you have run into that, haven't you?
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
In fact, even with your children, when my daughter Chanel was just a little girl, and she'd say, "Mommy, I don't want you to fly anymore. I don't want you to go anywhere." I'm like, "Well, okay, then we better start packing." I went and got some boxes, and she says, "Why are you packing?" I said, "I got to pack up because I won't have a job anymore. We're going to go live on the street. We're going to, we won't have any food, so we're going to beg." And it registered, and she said, "I'll be here when you get back, Mommy."
I know.
So that was a quick lesson for her to
I
learn.
know.
But yes, but people just don't want you to be gone.
Yeah, well, you can understand, but then if you understand what they do,
Yes.
then that's very important to understand and be proud of that, because what they do is for both of you.
Yes, but I think in relationships, people get insecure when they're worried about, well, what are you doing while you're there? And that's dating was very difficult for me as a flight attendant, because it was not understood that when I get where I'm going to bed, and I'm going to get up and get on the flight and come home. But it's like, well, who do you know there? Who do you know in that city? Who do you know in that city? And that insecurity is just, it's heavy on you. And
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
when I met him, it's like, I'm not going through that.
Right.
And
Well,
he was
sibling,
happy
and
too.
speaking of children and stepchildren,
Yes.
your son is a designer. Tell me about
Yeah,
it.
well, Courtney Wayne Lindsey.
My daughter's name is Courtney.
It's really cool. Yeah, he's 26. He's a gospel rapper. He's very heavily in the ministry. He has his first album out. It's called Kingdom Influence, and he goes under the name Sunwoe Love, SUNWHOA Love, and his website is the same, sunwoelove.com. But he really has some very cool music, and God gave him a vision to start this apparel line, and so God gave him Build, which stands for Bold, Unashamed, Intentional, Love Driven. And so he's starting
That's
this
deep.
campaign, yeah.
That is
and that's
deep.
what, he's living the Build life, the Build movement. And so if you go on his website, you can see, what he's doing.
What is his website?
Sunwoe Love, SUNWHOA love.com.
WHOA, like, whoa.
Yeah, so he's Black Samurai G, Sunwoe Love.
Wow.
That's his thing. So he's been to Japan twice. He's been performing over
What's
there.
his name?
Courtney.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but Sunwoe Love.
Sunwoe Love is his name.
Okay, he changed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his rap name.
Okay.
And he had another rap name when he was rapping secular, but when God called him in, he became Sunwoe Love. But he has videos on
Amazing
YouTube.
writer, amazing
Oh,
writer.
really?
Yeah, he
It's
can go.
so-
His rap is off the hook. He
It's
says,
not your typical gospel writing. He really gets deep with the young people in a
That's
language
what's
that they
important.
understand, and brings it to them in a way that they can relate and understand what it is, what his message really is. And he's fabulous.
yeah, he says, on Calvary's cross, my king crossed over, brought the good news to rap, so we brought the crossover.
Wow.
So he just has a
He has
very
a good
interesting
way
way
with
of putting
words.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we're working on a new record for him now that we hope to be
Do you
finished
have
with.
a studio?
Yes, I do, of course, yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. After a while, a musician has to have
Yeah.
his own studio.
Yes.
And how old is he again?
He's 26.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, look him up online. The videos are on YouTube, and the website is there as well. And my website is up, WayneLindsey.com.
Oh, you have a beautiful website.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful website also. I mean,
And China's is
CR Words Published at crwordspublished.com.
yes.
but I just put in letters.
Yes, I
Yes,
gave you the
it's
shortcut that we
abbreviation.
came up with, which is crwp.us.
Okay.
So you don't have to type in the whole thing.
And your books are available on Amazon
They
too.
are. Who
Wow.
Said You Look Like a Model is a how-to book on the ins and outs of the modeling industry.
And there are a lot of ins and outs in
There
modeling.
are. And then also From Soul to Soul is my memoir it's my story.
This is a very important story. This is a very important story.
It's really good. It
Oh,
really is.
God, I could tell. I really could
You're
tell.
going to love
just-
it.
When I first met Wayne, he read the book and he got to know a lot about me just by reading that.
Yeah, I did.
And he didn't run away.
I didn't.
Because I've had people read my book. Well, and I've done 4 books of poetry, you know, and I give somebody my book and they run away, man. This was years ago. I said, dang, what's that
When
about?
you want them to run, if they can't take it, you don't want them around you. That's
No, I believe
Just
that
let
love
go.
takes courage.
That's right.
Love takes courage, so you don't want to deal with that. This is, so what's next, Wayne?
Well, we're in the middle of American Idol season now. So when we go back home today, actually, we have a plane to catch later this afternoon. We start work again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for next week's show. And because we go live next week, Wednesday and Thursday show.
Yeah,
no more
'cause it's
taping.
I gotta watch it so I can find you.
Yes, do that.
Jeez, I did see you though.
You did? Yeah.
Because I recorded it because I can't take it.
Right.
I mean, I can't take anything where America votes.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe in America. I mean, I believe in America, but I don't believe Americans on the whole know talent. Now they may know what they like.
But that doesn't mean they know talent. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, it's always interesting to see what happens because we have our favorites and stuff, but we pretty much stay out of all of that and let it unfold, which is all we could do anyway. But it's interesting to see your favorites get sent home or see what America thinks and if they think like we happen to think, And a lot of times they do.
Well, a young
sometimes
lady
they
was
don't.
from here last year. With the wild hair. She was part Filipino, part with the glasses. The young lady with the glasses.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she was like one of the runner-ups or something. In fact, the second runner-up was from Farmington, which is near here. This young lady went to the high school that I used to teach at. This other young lady. And she's still traveling around the country. That's the one thing. When you're on the show, you can still travel. Well, I am so happy I met you, Guppy.
And one other thing, too, I did just finish my Christmas album.
Oh, tell us about it quickly.
Yes, it's a straight-ahead jazz album with a trio.
We have a call. We have Greg on the line because I got to get to my other guest. Greg, good morning. Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask Wayne if he could arrange an audition for me for the band with American Idol.
What did you play, Greg?
Drums.
Drums. Well, that's the worst seat that you could play in our band because we have Teddy Campbell as our drummer and he's one of the best in the world. But actually,
that's the target I'm marking.
I beg your pardon?
That's my target that I'm marking.
I couldn't hear what he said.
I don't understand what you're saying either. That's your
I
what?
said, Teddy, that is the target. That's my mark.
Oh,
that's the target.
That's his.
Yeah. Well, basically, our band, we've been together for over a decade now as a unit. So I'm sorry to say there are no seats available in our band because, that's what makes us. We like the Lakers, we're not the present Lakers, but the championship Lakers. We have a team, we have a chemistry, and that's why we're able to come in and do these shows so quickly because we have another 32 songs to prepare that will be on air Wednesday and Thursday, and most bands can't really work at that kind of pace. So that's one of the things that sets us aside and that helps to keep us in demand. So, but thanks for that interest. I'll pass it on to Teddy that you want his gig.
All right, I'll be listening. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I want to thank you all. This has just been fabulous. We got to keep in touch. Are these books for me? Could you
I certainly will.
please autograph them? I wish I would have known. I would have brought my book today because maybe I'll send it to you.
Please.
I think you'd like it. You might get some lyrics out
All
of it.
right.
Some people have. So, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a moment with something you need to know about an event in the March of Dimes. We'll be back in a moment.
You can expect from a Wayne Lindsey performance to have a good time. Like I said before, I like to party, I like to keep it hype. I like to have fun, you know, and I like to see my audiences having fun. So it's really about a good time. I want them to leave musically satisfied, and hopefully, you know, one or two people might work at the sweat with me. This is what I love. This is what I do.